My name is Heather Cope. I'm in Dr. Atala's anatomy and physiology class. This is week 4 experiments. I'll be doing lab 4 experiment 1 called diffusion through a liquid. So we will be putting corn syrup in these Petri dishes. You need your 9 centimeter Petri dish, both the top and the bottom half. You need the red and blue dye. This is the corn syrup. And then you need a ruler. I have my iPad on the side as a stopwatch and a pencil to record on my table. If you want to secure your plate, you can put tape on the bottom, but it's key to center this so that the 9 centimeters is in the center for the diameter. And then you can clearly see the numbers to record the diffusion time per millimeter. So the first step is to fill half the Petri dish, one of the halves of the Petri dish with some corn syrup. So I'm gonna do both at the same time, but fill that up. And then the other one. And I'm just gonna kind of move it around to get the corn syrup on every corner. We're gonna be using one for the blue and one for the red dye to see how fast the dyes diffuse in corn syrup. So I have my Petri dish filled with corn syrup. I have the ruler in the center, and I'm going to put the dye right into the center of the dish. So I'm going to start with the blue dye. It says to place a single drop in the middle of the corn syrup. And then you're going to want to start your timer right at that time, because for every 10 seconds, you're going to record the amount of millimeters that the corn syrup has diffused. So I'm going to put a dot around the 4.5 because that would be in the center. So I have my timer going. Every 10 seconds, I'm gonna see how far it has diffused. So it's gone about a centimeter at 10 seconds. "20 seconds, it's gone about 1.5 centimeters. 30 seconds, it's about 1.75. You can see how it's like creating these lines. 40 seconds, almost 2 centimeters. Now you're gonna skip to 70 seconds. So I'm gonna give it a little more time to record the next one. Okay, at 70 seconds, it's at the 2 here, so that would be 2.5. At 80, it's gonna be like 2.7. 90, it's about the same as 80. And then for 10 more seconds, I'd say I can see the blue in here, but it hasn't really diffused much more. So again, I would say a maximum of 3 centimeters. So I've recorded my blue dye diffusion. Okay, so now I'm gonna move on to the red dye. I have my second Petri dish sitting here on top of the ruler. Again, at the 4.5 mark, I'm gonna put a dot because that's halfway for the 9 centimeters. And it's important also, because this ruler is underneath your Petri dish, that it stays leveled to get an accurate diffusion rate, because if it's slightly tilted, it's going to diffuse faster down on the slope. So be very careful put the dot, and then start the timer again. And we'll see how fast this one goes. So at 10 seconds, it's traveled maybe 0.5 centimeters. And then at 20 seconds, 0.75. The red seems to travel a lot slower for me. The 30-second mark, still at 0.75 centimeters. At 40 seconds, 1 centimeter. This one's moving a lot slower. Now you have to wait to 70 seconds. You don't record the 50 or the 60. It's also not diffusing in a perfect circle like the other one did. Okay, at 70 seconds, it's 1.2 centimeters. At 80, let's say 1.5. 90, it's kind of stayed the same since 80. And for the last 10 seconds, it started here, but it's kind of going in this direction. It's not filling out that side for diffusion. But to record it this way, it's about 1.5 centimeters. And then when you turn the paper over, it has the 110 and the 120. So I'll just go for the full 2 minutes here. The red did a maximum of like almost 2 centimeters of diffusion. So once you have finished up those, then you have your chart, and it asks for the molecular weight. On the front or the first page, it says that under the materials. So you put that there, and then it has total distance traveled. For the blue dye, the total distance was about 3 centimeters. And for the red, it was about 2 centimeters. So it says to find the speed of diffusion, you multiply the total distance diffused by 30 to get the hourly diffusion rate. So 30 times 3 is 90. So that would be 90 millimeters per hour. And then this is 2 times 30 is 60. So that's 60 millimeters per hour. So that's lab 1. And then there's the post-lab questions to do after.